Welcome to day 72 of the 90-Day Volunteer Recruiting Challenge. My name is Kenny Conley. I am the Next Gen Pastor at the Ridge Community Church, and this is day 72 of my attempt to recruit 50 volunteers over the course of 90 days. I want to do a different type of recap today. Every Monday, I do a recap on how many volunteers I've recruited from the beginning. And it's a little bit easy. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's been a little bit discouraging to see, only one new volunteer this last week and a couple volunteers the week before, no volunteers the week before that. It feels like, are we stalling in progress? But I wanted to show you a different view of what's been happening over the past 90 days. That's super encouraging. Okay. And so this is just maybe helpful that when you're doing your volunteer journey, that you look at what's happening from multiple angles to be encouraged that movement is happening. So I'm gonna show you a screen share of our services volunteer schedule over the course. I want to show you a couple weeks back at week zero when we started this challenge, and I want to show you just a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the opening of our new kids building. And then I want to show you this last Sunday when we opened our kids building, what those numbers look like, because they tell a really interesting story. Okay, here we are. This is an actual screen recording of my Sunday services, or Planning Center services. And I just want you to see the reality of what it is that I've been working with. So this here is August 11th. This is the Sunday right before. This is like right before I started the volunteer recruiting challenge. You can see at our 8 o'clock service, we had 5 people on the schedule. 9:30, we had 18. And then at 11:15, I had 17. That was a pretty normal Sunday. I can show you. So if I go back the week before the challenge started, so to August 4th, you see the same thing, 6, 18, 17. Even if I go to the weekend after I started, which will be August 18th, you'll see again 4 people, 19 people, 18 people. So the average, if I actually average them together, is an average of 5 people at the first service, 18 at the second service, and 17 at the third service. That's a total of 40 people, okay? And I want to show you what happens, okay? Now let's go to close to where we are now. I'm gonna fast forward. I gotta click a whole bunch of times. I don't know if there's a faster way to do this, but I'm gonna go all the way to September 29th, because I want to show you a new average, okay? So look at this. So you'll see not a major change, but this is, over halfway into our challenge. I've got 4 at the first service, 21 at the second service, 18 at the third service. Okay, let's look at the next week. I'm looking at it for a 3-week average. Okay, 5 at the first service, 18 at the next service, 22 at this next service. Let's look at, this is the Sunday right before we moved into our new building. Here is 5 at the first service. Obviously this is not changing. This is a small service. We've got 19 at the 9:30 service. We've got 21 at the third service. I did an average of these 3 weeks leading up to opening the new building, and we were at 44, okay? When we started the challenge, we're at 40. That's a 10% increase. Like, that's not awesome, but it is an increase. But I do want to show you, this is the first week in the new building. Now, a lot of the volunteers that I recruited were volunteers for specific roles. I had some new check-in greeters that I didn't need before we moved to this new model, before we opened the new wing. I had a lot of storytellers and hosts and worship leaders that I didn't use the week before. But check this out. 5 at the first service, okay, that didn't change. 34 at the 9:30 service, 36 at the 11:15 service. Like, that's a huge jump. That's a total of 75 volunteers. Like, it's almost double where we were at the beginning of this service. Now, look at this though too. I talked about this earlier. I had 11 cancellations this last Sunday at the 9:30 service. I had 8 cancellations at the 11:15 service, but yet we still managed to have 34 and 36. This is the power of recruiting the volunteers we have. We're already looking at the schedule for next week, and the numbers are similar to this. We have essentially almost doubled our volunteer base just based on these numbers here. So I wanted to show you that and just let you see what this actually looks like and where we're at right now. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Well, I'm encouraged, and you should be too. Like, as you put your head down and work after this, you got to have the right metrics to be able to see what's actually happening. Sometimes just looking at the total number doesn't help. Sometimes you gotta look at a couple of different angles to see that sometimes stuff is happening even though you can't see it. So don't be discouraged. Volunteer recruiting is maybe the hardest part of the job, but as you do the work and you stay faithful to the things that you have to do, it pays off in the end.